Hey there, it's that guy over there again, bringing you game two of the Metagames tournament, Lizardmen versus Warriors of Chaos. Now, a note about this: when I first saw his army lining up, it's a little less optimized than the first list, but it's essentially going to be the same idea where there's the Slanesh Demon Prince, some chariots, a Chimera warriors, the big Skull Crusher group. So it was at first I was like, oh man, that's gonna happen all over again. But I learned a lot from the last game, and I think that now is a good chance for me to test out. Like if I could have done it differently, well now here's my chance. Yeah, so that's the idea behind this. If you guys are hearing birds chirping and stuff, I tried outside doing this outside today because it's a much nicer day than it's been in a while. So I guess enjoy the sounds of nature as I take you through this. Yeah, but here's my deployment. Note that my slower stuff or my more important things are closer to the camera, and everything else on my left flank. It's going to come important later on when I show you my opponent's deployment. Uh, a lot of his stuff. This is the deployment type where you randomly get put in table corners, or table sections. So this is how my stuff panned out. His a lot of his big warrior blocks ended up on my left, his right. So I'm going to actually be consolidating down towards this flank throughout the course of the game, if that makes any sense. Yep, so here's my opponent's list. There's the 5 Warhounds on the far left, some 20 Corn Warriors with BSB. Both of these warrior blocks and the Skull Crushers, really every unit that a character would join has a character attached to them. There's the Slanesh Demon Prince there behind the Corn Warriors. There's a Gorbeast Chariot, a Chimera. Chimeras might come with upgrades, but I'm just not sure what those are. There's a 20 Nurgle Warriors sword and board. The Corn Warriors have halberds. There's a hero character in there. 3 Skull Crushers with a hero character. He's the smaller red one. He's actually a metal crusher. I think that's why he's different. And I put that note of 5 Warhounds there. Much farther to the right is a Warhound unit. So here you can see my awesome Saurus block there. Yeah, I've deployed my Rippers facing backwards this time because, lesson learned from last game, they're going to get charged, or they're going to be charging stuff that's way too far for them to actually reach, and then they'll just piddle forward all game. So I did blot Toad his 2 warrior units and the Skull Crushers because I realized after the last game that you should probably put blot Toad markers on the things you expect to be in combat with, as well as the things that you want to be in combat with, just because you get the rerolls to wound and rerolls to hit and all that. So, and the extra frenzy mark attacks. The Slan, Tedo, yeah, they're just chilling in the back. Not attached to anything because he didn't have any shooting of any kind. Here's my farther left flank. Yeah, all this is going to be moving to the right as the game progresses. And then my farther left side. So there's some pictures of his deployment. You've seen these pictures. Yeah, there's those warheads facing outwards. Today was a gaming day, so there's a whole room full of Magic players around us. We got put in the back corner, which was a nice respite after the last game that was in the blazing hot sun. Yeah, more pictures of deployment. All right, Vanguard moves. The idea here with this one is because there's really no shooting, I'm just going to be vanguarding forward, and all of these Ripper units are going to try to get in behind him from the beginning. That Salamander vanguarded with Tedo. I only got 1 vanguard, so there was that. Yep, so I'm going to try to get behind him early on. So on to Lizardman turn 1. I fly up onto that hill, so now I'm behind him, facing the unit. So because I want to charge either the Warhounds probably, but either unit I have the option to. Here I fly right in between them. It's like all of a sudden, oh hey, when did you guys show up? But yeah, so now I'm in flush with his units. You're going to see in the next picture those other Ripperdactyls flew in front of the Warhounds. But yeah, everything is moving to the right because I want to slow down uh, those big warrior blocks as much as I can. That Troglodon's moving up just to get in position. The Skinks are kind of forming their cloud in the middle. And you see the Slans moving towards the Troglodon to be within 24 inches. There are those Rippers for the Warhounds, like I said. The Saurus are way out of position, but they're trying to march in, and I'm hoping to draw him in. We ruled these buildings as impassable. I don't have a lot of experience with these ruins in fantasy, so we just called them impassable. So they're going to try to get alongside that, and hopefully I can channel all those guys into that little gap. The walls aren't impassable, but the big building in the middle is. So hopefully I can kind of channel them through that little gap there and get in the flank. Yep, there's the Rippers. I moved the Salamander here, and he can't see over the wall because he's so short. So nice. All right, so magic phase. I'm really liking the setup I have on my general. He has a lot of dice at his disposal. So Teto actually throws down what is that thing called? The Comet of Cassandora with 1 token right there. Again, to kind of slow him down, hopefully make him think twice about coming straight at me. Yeah, so Warriors of Chaos turn 2, or turn 1. Yeah, the Warhounds charge, and the Crushers actually make it in 2. So now I got a whole bunch of crap fighting me, which is not good for those guys. The Chimera charges the Salamander first, so he flees. Everything stays and holds, which is nice. And then he makes it into the Skinks. So, yeah, the Skinks, he's going to overrun into the Croxagores, and I'm going to have Croxagore versus Chimera again. And it went well for me last time, and that's kind of what I wanted to have happen, was the Chimera to go into the Croxagores. So, as you can see, everything's flying up. It worked with those Khorne warriors. They don't want to go near that marker, so that idea worked. The chariot is going around behind my Rippers, and the chariots they're so slow. You'd think they'd be fast because they're often drawn by cavalry, but it's going to take him a while to get to the fray here. Predictably, the Chimera paced those Skinks, goes into the Croxagores. All right, I put this question mark here because we have a rules question. So if I blot toad a unit, and that unit as well as another unit charge into my Rippers, I am in combat with the Skull Crushers and the dogs. And if it says if you are in close combat with the unit with a blot toad marker, you get all the special rules. So can I use those special rules to wipe out the dogs, the Warhounds, even though I didn't blot toad them? So that's the rules question. We ruled it that because it says if you're in combat with them that you could do that. And my opponent was a really good guy. He let me take back some things, and like if I forgot to do something, he let me go back. And of course, I did the same for him also. But it was just a really good guy to play against, especially just kind of starting out again. So we ruled it this way, and we went with it. So I don't know, but anyway, they win by a lot. Well, actually, it was just about a tie. I don't know. They just shift over. So because I got 5 wounds and he only did a couple, I think maybe I even won combat. No, I didn't win combat. Anyway, I held and he moved over. Lizardmen turn 2. I charge. They're the Warhounds, who hold because they're just gonna get run down. Move these Skinks up here to kind of keep because I'm moving to the right. I'm more moving towards the center now, and I figure these Skinks can pull these Khorne Crushers farther out of position and kind of make them go right, getting 200 points in the 120 point Ripper unit, and the Skinks is about 190 points, and then that'll be all they do this game, I hope. The rest, the Skinks move up. That Salamander marches up here, which ends up being a bad idea. You'll see later. I rally the Salamander. And then I move that Troglodon, as you see here, up to within 12 inches of the Daemon Prince to try to get him with some death magic. And I'm setting up a charge on those Khorne warriors based on where they go. And onto the magic phase, and boom, Daemon Prince goes down. This is the first time death magic actually worked out for me. I just rolled really high on Spirit Leech, and he rolled really low, and managed to pick him off there, which was pretty key. This is what I would have done last game if the Troglodon hadn't have just walked up right in front of the Daemon Prince and gotten charged and fled off the table. But yeah, so the Troglodon definitely has helped me out this game. Yeah. Combat here, I take out those Warhounds. The Salamanders really haven't shot yet because they haven't been close enough to really do anything. Yeah, so not a lot of shooting yet. Yeah, so the Khorne Crushers, obviously they just kill that last Ripper and turn around to face that Salamander, and now I've left a chain of units for him to charge into and get back into the battle. So yeah, because if he just kills them, he doesn't have to overrun because he didn't charge this turn, so I can't bait them like I thought I was planning on doing. And the Kroxigors, they lose 2 of their number, but they take down the Chimera. Last time I remember my opponent passed a lot of regeneration saves, and that's why it took 2 rounds of combat. But yeah, the Kroxigors were definitely the ones to send into the Chimera. I don't know how much a Chimera cost, but he's already gotten 170 points, so yeah, it's all right. Warriors of Chaos turn 2. Those red arrows show what the Khorne Skull Crushers charge. They charged that Salamander. He fled. Redirected to the Skinks. They fled. And the Warriors ended up charging the last unit there. So I might try to charge into those Skinks and catch them and get... Yeah, it might have... I don't know. It might have been a long charge for him. But, yeah, he just charged into those Skinks, and I held... because I figured that Salamander's in perfect position now. But we'll see how that turns out. This is a terrible picture. This is the top of the building, obscuring everything. His magic phase, I'm using that dice to reroll the... Teto Echo can reroll the dice to see if the comet comes in. I've been rerolling it, trying to keep it out until he gets close enough to get hit. So it's got 4 tokens on it now, which is pretty nice. That's the total. That's the overview of the board. You can see that the Skinks have already been wiped out. And the Khorne Warriors or the Nurgle Warriors have reformed to face the rest of my units. Yeah, it's showing a little bit better here, but the units that start out on that left side, they're still way far away. If I focus in on the middle, I can, obviously take one group of warriors down at a time, which I think is the way you want to do it. Lizardmen turn 3. That unit that I had set up charges into the flank, hoping to killing blow that character. That Salamander is still fleeing. My other unit of Skinks they rally and reform. The Salamander, I guess, has to flee to the closest table edge, so he's actually running off my opponent's table edge now. I line that Skink or that Salamander up. I'm gonna forget to fire it. Spoiler alert, but yeah, it's lined up in a juicy target there, but I just messed it up. Yeah, did I mention I forgot a lot of things this game? Yeah, that was one of them. Yep. You see that Troglodon, he's moved up. I'm trying to take more pictures of the board. So I moved up trying to either spit that Chariot down or Death Magic him or do something. Charge him maybe at some point. Yep, you see over here. Alright, for this comet, when it comes in, I think 2 or 3 of those dice, probably just 2 of those dice, was how many hits came out, and it was a lot of hits. So I managed to reach the unit with the impact, and it hits him hard. I can't remember if it hits my unit also, my little rippers. It might have. No, I think close combat's already been fought and they just got wiped out. Yeah, because they didn't get to strike at all, so they just died before, because the character has like 5 attacks. Each of those corn guys have 3 attacks each, and they just destroyed them. So yeah, the rippers aren't, and he reforms as you see. The rippers aren't as sturdy as I might like. Yep. So I'm just showing this to show that I think that chariot charges the salamander, and then the corn skull crushers. I keep calling them corn crushers. The skull crushers, they overrun. They charge it, catch it, overrun it, and then they turn to face. Now they're back in the middle, which is where I didn't want them to be, but they're back and ready to, kill some things. Yeah, so because he reformed on my turn, now he charges the Troglodon, and I think I hold, and then I don't do anything, and I think he just kills me because he's got so many Strength 5 attacks. They're crazy corn warriors. Yeah, there's a few missing, so I must have killed like 2 or 3, but then I just die. The Nurgle warriors charge these skinks here. They've been whittled down a little bit, but they're still pretty tough. Yeah, and then really at this point he's just got combat because his Daemon Prince is down, so he's just charging and moving and fighting the close combats. So he kills off the skinks, overruns into the Bastiladon. I'm like, well, I got these 4 croc scores. Hopefully I can charge in here and do something, right? So, yep. So these guys, they have a little narrow gap, but I charge in those Croxagore. As you can see, the Saurus have gotten to the point where they're right what I was saying, as I was trying to use that building to help them get a flank. But we measured it, and they're not going to be able to be charged by the Skull Crushers because it's impassable. And I hadn't intended for these situations where you completely block off charges when we were deciding at the beginning. But yeah, I was just trying to use that building to my advantage at this point to try to keep those Skull Crushers off. The Slan's hiding behind it, and maybe impassable was the wrong way. Maybe we should have just made it dangerous or something. I don't know. I'm not used to buildings in fantasy. The skinks move up. As you can see, there's a bunch of wounds piled up over there on the crushers. All right, this is the before picture and the after picture. Yeah, they just didn't get very many hits. I think I only killed 5 guys, so between the strength 4 Bastiladon, yeah, the big giant turtle is only strength 4, just like the guys he's fighting. A skink chief is as strong as a Bastiladon. Let me put it that way. But anyway, they do like 5 wounds to me, and so somehow the Bastiladon stays, but maybe he was in range of the general, but the Crocscore weren't. They ran, which is bad because now he's probably going to beat me on his turn and wipe out both those units. So I move like this. Teto's the bait. See if he and I might be just at maximum charge range just to make him charge these guys, just to be a nuisance if he fails his little berserk rage test or whatever. Bastiladon moves up. The pterodons or the ripperdactyls are there to support. Yep. So this is Warrior of Chaos turn 4. I'm still sticking somehow. Oh yeah, I'm still sticking somehow. But when I move my general back behind this building, I move him away from this Bastiladon. Now Bastiladon's leadership 5, and I did not intend for that to happen. So I was kind of kicking myself after that. The Skull Crushers are trying to get around the building. That's what it looks like from this side. Yep, so he beats the Bastiladon. They overrun into the Croxagore, or they pursue into the Croxagore. They then they turn and pivot, and now they're facing the rear of the fleeing Bastillodon. Yeah, that's not how I wanted to go. I really only killed like one guy in that combat. Bastillodons really aren't that good in close combat. So, yeah, Lizardmen turn 5. I charge. If you notice, the Warriors' turns are really short because, like I said before, they're just combats. Lizardmen 5, I charge in Bastillodon and the Rippers. And, yeah, I'm about to, in my mind, I'm like, I'm about to sacrifice another unit of Rippers to Khorne. Khorne has killed all my Rippers this tournament. So, but I'm hoping since they're only 2 ranks wide and that character can't make way over there, that hopefully I'll at least get one guy that can dish out some wounds. And then the Bastillodon's just there so they can't reform and wipe them out completely. Yeah, so when he overran and faced my fleeing Bastillodon, I saw an opportunity there. I know that this is opening up my flank to these Khorne guys, but I'm just hoping I'll pursue far enough not to be charged, which is hoping for a really high roll. This was actually probably a bigger risk than I was acknowledging at the time, but yeah, I charged it anyway. Something had to happen. I had to get some more points if I wanted to come back in the tournament standings. So I charge in there. Death magic works for me a second time, and I take out that character there on the Juggernaut. So, yay, I guess, one less Juggernaut, but death magic, it didn't work at all the first game. I don't think I even caused a single wound. No, I killed one sorcerer, but this game I already killed a Daemon Prince and another character, and I think that's why I took death. I thought I was gonna have trouble with characters like these. So yeah, just showing that over there. Shooting phase, I misfire. Using misfire dice, eat all my crew. That's pretty cool. This is the before picture and the after picture. Yeah, the Ripperdactyls just go to town. I lose one, but somehow I just really just wipe them out. Nurgle warriors are a lot tougher than Khorne warriors, unless the Khorne warriors kill you first, obviously. But the just a lot of hits, a lot of wounds, and enough killing blows to matter. The character's still there, but he's the BSB, and we break and pursue the unit, and they run off the table, or we catch them or something. So, yeah, so that's a lot of points there. That's the character and the unit and his battle standard bearer. So it's pretty good. So he rolls somewhere in there. Those are his leadership dice. It's either the 6 and the 5 or the 6 and the 6. So the chariot runs, is now kind of getting into the middle. So now all of his units are in the middle to fight mine, which is, I was trying to kind of canalize them in there, and it's worked for the most part. But yeah, here my champion gets killed in a challenge. I really don't do any other wounds, but he doesn't really. He killed just the champion, I think. So, yeah, he breaks. I pursue. This is him pulling off his banner, I think. But look how far I charge. It's going to be just outside. And it might even be by the champion that died. Makes way for one guy, so now he can't see my unit. Yay. Yep, Lizardman 6. Because really that's all he can do at that point. I think he charges some guys, and I just flee, so the Skull Crushers are still standing there. They might be march blocked even, I don't know. But anyway, I charge in there. I move all around his chariot thingy. I'm trying to either death magic it, shoot it with lasers, and then shoot it with poison. And yeah, obviously charge those Nurgle guys. Here's another picture. I kill one guy, he kills a bunch of mine, but I stay because they're Nurgle warriors and they're tough. But I've moved those Pterodons up, or the Ripperdactyls up, so hopefully they can get in. Even though this is turn 6, so yeah, I don't think I actually end up killing this unit off, because here's one of the last pictures of the game. I've moved out of the way, and he's trying to see if he could charge. He ends up charging Teto. It was really close, and I was like, yeah, you can roll it. I mean, I'm just gonna flee, and I flee and get away, and then that's pretty much the end of the game. Oh, maybe I do run him down. Yeah, so I kill enough of them, I chase them, break them, run them down, and that's the end of the game. So that one was a much, and as you can see, the chariot's gone. So really, the only thing left is the skull crushers. So the game went a lot better for me this game. And again, I can't speak to the sportsmanship of my opponent enough because he really did. It was like there's a few times where, especially the Rippers, for whatever reason, I'd pass their leadership check and then I'd move them and I'd skip my charge phase, so he'd let me go back and do the charge phase, which was really nice of him. I mean, in turn, there was a combat where he had cast a spell on those Nurgle warriors, and we went back and refought it, or maybe I can't remember. We refought the combat at one point because we had messed something up, and which had helped him out. And so it was just what I'm trying to say is it was a good game. It wasn't us trying to cheat each other out of little technicalities, and it was a lot of fun. A really great guy to play against. He drove something like 4 or 5 hours to come play, so it was great. But I can really chalk it up to that first game, learning what the dangerous things are and how to even use my own army, because I haven't ever played this army before the tournament. So because I just finished putting them all together, but yeah, it was definitely a lot. I felt like I had a lot more control of this game and over my own units and things like that. So anyway, there's one more game to come. This is a pretty big win for me, so obviously I'm not going to be in the top group, but hopefully I can place pretty well at the end. So, all right, thanks for watching.